So I'm Josh.
And I'm Brooke.
And this is our adoption story.
Yeah, so we were married 13 years before we had kids.
A couple of years in, we started trying.
About 4 years in, yeah.
It just seemed like we just had no luck, and we didn't really know what was going on.
We were student pastors at the time, and I was at a basketball game watching some students, and a lady sat next to me, and she started showing me these pictures of these two little girls who were in foster care and had been taken in by a friend of hers. Her friend was going to get to adopt them, and my heart just was immediately captivated. And so when we went home, I just started, I guess, planting the seed in Josh's ear. At first, he wasn't going for it.
There's a possibility that I could lose this kid that I would get attached to, so I was not on board with foster care at the beginning. It scared me, even though I wouldn't have admitted it. So I was just like, that's not even an option for us. So I kind of threw it out.
Yeah, but something began to happen in his heart. So he decided to at least go to the orientation with me, the foster care orientation. And so we went to that, and I think that scared him maybe even more.
Something definitely changed in my heart, and it wasn't long after that before we met Brooklyn. There was a family in our church that they fostered kids often, and they had her, and they just came to us and said, we think this little girl would be a perfect fit for your family.
Yeah, she immediately felt like our child. But it wasn't a smooth road. I guess probably about a year in, it seemed like, a family member that she had never met, that was from across the country, sort of surfaced and said that they wanted her. And so it came to the point where she was going to live with them, and so we had to tell her that. Of course, we were so heartbroken. She was so heartbroken. By that time, she was really connected to us and had just really an established part of our family. So
I started to feel really frustrated. I was like, God, I told you this was going to happen. Like I'd get attached to someone and they were going to be taken away. And I felt like God had done all these things to miraculously put her in our home. I mean, she looked like us. She fit so well in our family. And the first time that we met her, that day when she left and she went back with this foster family, they told her we didn't have any kids. And she was like, I've got a great idea. How about I go to live with them and I could be their little girl and they could be my mommy and daddy. Like, this is from her. And we just felt from the beginning that God put her in our home. And then it was like he was taking her away. And I was like, this is not fair. You know, it's like there was a court date where we had, like Brooke said, we were taking her and all of her belongings there, and she was gonna leave with someone else.
Yeah, it was our wedding anniversary. We had driven to New Orleans, and we were just in tears and just completely heartbroken and a little confused, to be honest. And I remember us just praying the prayer of Job and saying, Lord, you give and you take away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. So whatever happens, you know, we're going to still choose to serve you. We're going to choose to trust you. We're going to choose to believe in you, no matter the outcome, whether it's what we want it to be or not. But God, in his mercy and grace and just miraculous power, on the way back from that trip, I got a text message and it said they changed their mind. So I texted her back and said, what does that mean? And she called me really quick and said, hey, I want to tell you more about it, but just know Brooklyn's not going anywhere. They changed their mind. And so
it was absolutely a miracle.
We got a call one day. I was actually scheduled to preach at church, and they said, hey, we have this preemie, tiny little boy, and would you like to take him in? We took Judah in, and really that wasn't easy either. It actually might have been more difficult with Judah. They said that he's going with another family member, and we went to court. We went all the way to court expecting him to be turned over that day. And when we got to court,
the case worker just got up and said, like they're changing the case to adoption instead of reunification. And we were shocked. We were sitting there and we had no idea that that was even the plan. So we're like, Brooke grabs my hand and we're like, oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, don't freak out, don't
amazing.
freak out. And it was just like, did God just do this again?
I know there may be women that are listening to this, or couples that are listening to this, and you're experiencing the heartache of infertility, and we know what that feels like. And the truth is, God could still do a miracle and we could still have a baby, you know, and if he wants to do that, that's fantastic. But I will say that it might not be fantastic to Josh, but I will say this, that I never look at our kids and the plan of God and what's happened in our life as plan B.
Right.
I believe that this was God's best for us, and that Brooklyn and Judah are God's absolute best for our family.